Good morning. We got the little mast for the 1930s Bahamas dinghy, the little 10-footer named Henning. We've got the mast here. It had a dry scarf and a little bit of rot, so we glued the scarf back together with THIXO, thickened epoxy adhesive, and then we clamped it. And we didn't need all of these clamps for the scarf itself, but we did add extra ones so that when it's drying, there's gonna be a straight side up one side of the mast. So all these little magic finger coming in, all the feet on these little clamps, keeping the mast equidistant as it dries. Scarf joints up there where the majority of the clamps are. But we just want to give a shout out to everybody's clamp that helped, and we'll just start here on the end. See who was helping today. We have Tim, Rick, Kirk, John, Audrey, and if you're wondering, we name our clamps for family and friends, so that when we're out here doing this, we kind of think that they're here helping us. Let's see, this one here should have a see who's this belongs to. Alan. Alan's one of our sunfish buddies. Helps us out all the time with parts. Here we've got Murray. He's our small boat expert. And Doug, another small boat expert. He's always find unique solutions to challenges we may have. Let's see who else we got. We have Ben, Lori, Sue, Jeff. This one is Richard, up close to Boston, always giving us good advice when he's not building 800 low boats. Got Dorinda and Push is Captain TP Leathers of Mississippi Steamboat Matches fame. See, Winnie was the young lady he built the Mississippi River skiff for, family friend. We got Webb being very useful today. Got a clamp for me, and Kent, also known as Clark. Got Evelyn, Patty, Joe, and David, Caitlin, and my Marine Corps friend Jim Thorpe, call sign Engine. So we appreciate all the help today. Back to the scarf. You can see right here, we've got this little diagonal line joining the two pieces of wood together, and we put some thickened epoxy in there. We want to see a little bit of squeeze out when we glue up a joint like this. I cleaned off most of it, but if you don't see a little bit of thickened epoxy squeezing out, then you have to put the question in your head, did I put enough epoxy into that joint? Because with the dry piece of wood, like this stick is, it's gonna get soaked into the wood over a period of an hour, or a couple hours, or whatever. So sometimes in the past, we've come along and we just clean that little seam off. I'm talking about this right here. And then we've come back an hour later, and not only is the epoxy disappeared, but you might see a little indentation there, meaning it's in there looking for more epoxy to soak in. So leave a little bit extra, especially if your wood's dry. If you're starting with raw lumber, you might even consider putting a couple of coats of your regular thin epoxy on your lumber so it soaks in before you do the final glue up with thickened. You know why? Thickened epoxy, why not wood glue? It's a great adhesive, it's very strong. The thickened, by that I mean there's some filler added to the resin and the hardener. It fills any little gaps, any little microscopic crevices that might be inside that joint. So you get glue throughout the whole joint. And when you're done, you'll have a joint that if this ever breaks, it'll be the wood around it that breaks. It won't be the epoxy. in the joint. So we like it for the gap filling qualities. It's easy to mix. You can buy it in a little cartridge tube. The 3 components all together, put it in a caulk gun, squeeze it out the end through a mixing tip, and you just kind of squeeze it and clamp it and forget about it for a while. You can just leave the mixing tip on the tube. The little bit of product that's in the tube will harden up, and it's like putting the cap back on that. And then when you're ready to go, a day, a week, a few months later, that resin hardener and thickening agent are all still going to be in good shape when you get ready to use it again. For wood glue, a lot of wood glue, you need to have a very straight or flat pieces of surface to go together. And then when you put that thin wood glue in there, you gotta make sure you put a lot of clamping pressure on it to make sure that glue spreads out and you get good contact throughout the entire surface. So that's a good way to go also. I'm not saying one's any better than the other, but for me and how we do it, the epoxy's been the easier route. It also costs more than some wood glues, so might be a consideration for you. Also, you need a lot more clamps. We have here more clamps than we needed. Like I say, most of the ones up here are just to help the mast kind of come back to its regular shape. It was stored pretty well, but it had a little bit of bend into it, and that might have been the bend that it wanted. So when we take all these clamps off and lay it somewhere, it may go back to that shape again, and that's how we'll take it out. So hope y'all are doing great and enjoying some nice weather somewhere. That about does it.